Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Hello. Thank you for watching my videos. It's Mike. It's January 18th, 2009. Here's some of the stories I've been watching. Well, to begin with, it's actually the editorial cartoon from today's Sunday Times, London. Okay, so we can see the world. The world is in trouble. Who will rescue us? Why? Obama will. At the moment, in the United States, Obama fever is ratcheting up to a fever pitch. The Obama inauguration will be on Tuesday. We'll see what happens there, or shortly thereabouts, with regards to the banking crisis. Now, there is a banking crisis going on this weekend, people. If you were not aware of this, let me tell you. Over here in the UK, people are freaking out. I haven't heard any reports yet of people queuing up at banks to remove their money. But it wouldn't surprise me if we suddenly saw that tomorrow. However, same thing is happening in the States, it's just not being reported. Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, and Morgan Stanley, and Citigroup have all reported completely horrible, horrible results. And there is lots of questions around their financial viability. However, the news is not full of any of this because, funnily enough, the American news is full of Obama fever. His coronation on Tuesday. I am of no mindset as to Obama. I'm certainly not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm Canadian. However, I'm British. British and Canadian. I have two citizenships. It's fine, because we both report to the Queen. So, one of my comments earlier is actually quite appropriate here. The end of the world is here. Run for the hills! No, it's not quite time to panic. There's still some time. But be ready. Today's headline, business section. Treasurys, a £100 billion lifeline. What's this about? New bailout of British lenders will take the government stake in the Royal Bank of Scotland to 70%. Lloyds resists government share offer. Lloyds is basically saying, listen, in the first round of all this credit nonsense, we took some money from the government, we agreed to merge with Halifax Bank of Scotland, we're doing our darndest to get over this thing. Please don't bundle us in with all the other ones. So, for instance, Royal Bank of Scotland could be nationalised as it faces biggest loss in UK history. Toxic debt plan. There's a new toxic debt plan. Ring-fence assets on banks' balance sheets. HSBC rights issue inevitable. Essentially, there's an investment group out there called Knight Vinc, or Vinky, depending on your particular interpretation of that word. We are convinced that a substantial rights issue is inevitable, and the longer HSBC leaves it, the worse the problem will become. Essentially, they're saying that HSBC does not have enough capital to cover everything, and this next wave in the financial tsunami is about to strike them in a serious, nasty way, particularly with the decline of China. Toxic debt plan is the last throw of the dice. From today's Sunday Telegraph, London. Basically saying the government needs a plan that draws a line under the horrors of the bank's balance sheets. Essentially, they're going to need to pull out all of these really bad debts. It's the only way this is going to be solved. They're going to have to pull out these bad debts and put them into what's called a bad bank, or find some way of taking these bad debts off of their primary balance sheet and stick it onto a secondary balance sheet. Now, this is the model that was used in Sweden a few years back to solve their particular banking crisis. The problem is, at the moment, they figure there's about, roughly, £250 billion of these bad debts. What they don't realize, and they're certainly not publicizing, is that the problems in America with the mortgages defaulting will only get worse. Option Arm and all these other wacky mortgage systems are going to continue to default. And they're going to continue to default for the next 3, 4, 5 years. The £250 billion estimate right now is really, really, really shy of the full figure. However, the rescue. has failed. It's time to fess up, reboot, and start again. Basically saying, okay, listen, what we need is for the banks to completely disclose what they've got. Figure out exactly how much of this is completely duff loans, get them off into some other system, and the banks will be free and clear of this and will then be able to do what they should be doing. Now, Gordon Brown, in an interview with the Financial Times this weekend, said pretty much the same thing. Brown orders Britain's banks to come clean. Tell us what's in your balance sheets that are slightly dodgy. In return, they will take them away from the bank. The bank won't need to worry about these things anymore. The government will. The problem of this, of course, is £250 billion is an awful lot of money. And it's going to take some time for the United Kingdom taxpayers to be able to deal with all this debt. So, what's going on this weekend? Well, if you wanted to make a horror movie, here's a great title for it. Banking Nightmare 2, The Fear Returns. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. This is the second wave. Just wait till the third wave hits them. So, this insolvency report. This morning I posted a video basically saying there was a report in the Independent that seems to have been removed for some reason. I smell the handiwork of Lord Mandelson in this one. However, it could be anybody. In fact, it could just be the Independent deciding that the story was crap and pulling it. But I have not seen this on the Independent website for, well, I've never seen it. I'm sure people out there have never seen a story being pulled and removed from a website. Particularly one about all banks in Britain being technically insolvent. Please take a look at my earlier video for more details on this. However, where did this come from? And where is this insolvency report? What's actually in it? Well, if you want to know what's in it, I posted a link to the Financial Times live blog site. I have a transcript of a live blog that took place Friday morning. I've also included a link to the Reuters story, which doesn't actually have the words insolvent banks, but regardless. But there's no mention of the report in that particular story. However, there's a large chunk of what's in the report sitting on Paul Murphy's blog on Financial Times as well. In any case, it appears that the banks team at RBS, which is effectively Ian Smillie, I think that's Smillie, and Cormac Leech, both downgraded Barclays, HSBC, Standard Chartered in a big way, huge way, on Friday morning. Telegraph has the propaganda machine's response to this news, in that Barclays to unveil £6 billion profit after shares slump. That sounds like Mandelson as well, basically saying, okay, get some good stories out there about Barclays. Don't let this mess really, because if Barclays goes down, that is going to have a huge effect on the UK economy. One point to note on the FT blog, there's a little line in there that says, oh no, the pestonwire has gone down. They are referring to a live feed from Robert Peston. For those of you who aren't in the UK and have never heard who Robert Peston is, I'll include a link to his BBC blog site so you can get some idea of what this is about. Now, why is it so important that they've ripped a story out of the Independent and hidden it? I'll include a link to the Panorama show from the end of December of last year, basically explaining that in the beginning of October, when the first banking crisis took hold, reporters within the country were told, specifically, don't report some stuff, because they didn't want people to freak out and cause bank runs. The show basically explains how close we came in October to having a complete collapse in the financial system in the UK. This weekend, we risk exactly the same thing. This is why somebody, somewhere, removed that article from the Independent's website. Okay, folks, the plot thickens. Keep watching. Peace, love, understanding. Think about things. Prepare. And I'll speak to you tomorrow.